We'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I would take approval of the regular agenda.
So moved.
There's been a motion by Sean,
Second.
seconded by Rick. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay, Bruce made a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second?
Maggie made the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, Southern Valley Alliance presentation. You can step up here, Mr. Gilbertson, and
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me. My name is Jim Gilbertson. I'm part of the Board of Directors for Southern Valley Alliance located in Belle Plaine, Minnesota. We're a nonprofit organization that provides services and support for victims of domestic violence, serving all of Scott and Carver counties. I'm honored to be here to share more about Southern Valley and inform you that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This is an important time to recognize victims, survivors, raise awareness about domestic abuse, and highlight the critical work Southern Valley is doing within our community. Did you know 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of abuse or domestic violence in their lifetime? We'd like to think it doesn't happen in our community, but the truth is domestic violence happens everywhere. Last year's annual report showed that we served 945 victims, survivors. We answered over 1,800 crisis line calls. And since our organization was founded in 1982, we've assisted 880 victim survivors in the city of New Prague. We are working diligently to break the cycle of violence in our community. We provide essential services like a 24/7 free confidential crisis line, crisis intervention and court advocacy, safe housing partners, support groups, and community engagement and education. 2022 marks our 40th anniversary of the organization. We have had the honor of serving over 23,000 individuals as they try to lead healthy, violence-free lives. What better way to celebrate than to announce our move to Shakopee? In 2023, our office will be moving from the Belle Plaine location to Shakopee. The new location is close proximity to public transportation, county services, courts, employment opportunities, and many other community resources. Being centralized between the 2 counties will serve and will open many doors for survivors in our community. Help us continue to raise the awareness and make a difference by getting involved at www.svamn.org. Follow and share our posts on social media, participate in our upcoming events and Domestic Violence Awareness Month campaigns. Though increasing awareness, training, and building relationships, we can empower victims, educate our youth, inform our neighbors, and partner with agencies invested in the safety and well-being of our community. Again, thank you for having me as a guest tonight and for partnering with us to end the cycle of violence in Carver and Scott counties. We can't do this without you.
thank you. Where are you moving to in Shakopee?
You know where, you know where the Scott County Abstract is?
Yes?
Right behind it. There was a old Victorian home there,
Yep.
so the sheriff's department, then the county courthouse is right here.
So you'll be close to that.
Very close, yeah. They're starting the construction. We wanted to maintain the old house, but just the sprinkling system alone, when you're a commercial building, was overwhelmingly costly. So the decision was made to raise the building and build
Okay.
brand new. Yes,
Jim, that stat you gave, 880 in New Prague, from what year was that again?
that was from our founding. So we were founded in 1982.
Okay.
880 victim survivors have contacted us from New Prague.
Well, thanks for what you do, and thanks for your activity, and it's a very valuable service, very needed Service, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No,
No. All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, interesting. All right, next item on the agenda is Columbus Avenue project update.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
Sounded
evening.
like a vampire. Good evening.
As an update to the Columbus Avenue project, there's a couple repairs that are gonna be made this, I believe the next week or so. A couple sanitary sewer services that had some settlement that was found, and the contractor's gonna be making those repairs. So if you see any excavation or anything being dug up over on Columbus Avenue, that's what's going on. Those are just warranty repairs, so after construction, everything was televised and those locations were found to need repair. So three sewer services that, I believe they said it will be done by the end of next week. Those property owners have all been notified, so they're gonna know what's gonna be happening. Next item I have for you is on the 2023 street utility improvement project. What you have for, in front of you today is the feasibility report.
Yes.
And I'm just gonna give you a kind of a quick synopsis of the report itself. This is for the 2023 project that was, the feasibility report was ordered in May of this year. And this includes the general project area of Sunrise Avenue North, Sunset Avenue North, First Street from Lexington to Greenway Park, Second Street from Sunset to Greenway Park, and then Third Street from Sunrise to 10th Avenue Northeast. So this is for a full street utility reconstruction project, including new streets, new sanitary sewer, new storm sewer, new water main. A neighborhood informational meeting was held on September 14th. And we did have a good number of residents that attended that meeting. And what we have right here is just kind of the general feasibility report for it. I'll do a full presentation, assuming this goes to a public hearing. So I'm just gonna give you a quick overrun of it. But the project costs, as of right now, which are kind of the big part of it here, if you bear with me here, I got to do this on my phone. So total project cost we have on this one is $4,630,500. That's for the improvements that are proposed for next year, and that includes all project costs. So that's the construction costs, project-related costs, contingency costs, and any of those fiscal and associated costs that go into that. These are including construction numbers that were obtained from bids of this year, which have definitely been higher than we've seen in previous years. And then budgetary numbers for the project-related, especially engineering, 25% probably on the high end, but it's definitely more of a budgetary number. We also do have in the report preliminary cost estimates for future projects west of this area currently proposed for 2024 and 2025. That could change. But I guess I have the report in front of you. If you have any questions for me on that at this point.
So Third Street, is that gonna be a full reconstruct with curbing and everything? That's my place. Okay,
Yeah, Third Street's gonna be a little bit different, so full reconstruction for the street. They had that emergency repair a couple years back, so. But the full street reconstruction and then sanitary sewer, only for about a block.
Okay.
Going east of Sunrise Avenue, everything on the sanitary sewer on the east end is from early 90s. So that sanitary sewer is gonna be left in place along with the sewer services. New water main going from Sunrise all the way to 10th, and that might be directional drilled, so there'll be a little less road disturbance because of that. And then the plan is just to reconnect the water services. So those properties, and just 5 of them at the east end, would just have, as far as assessments go, just be assessed for the street.
so then new curbing though.
New curb, new pavement, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So Chris, on the proposed timeline schedule on
Yes.
page 8, that present final plans and we authorize the advertisement for bids in February, we're not gonna run into a situation like we did with Main Street, where all of a sudden a lot of guys already had their crews lined up and work lined up. That seems like a late timeline.
It's earlier than most projects have been bid
Really?
in the city, yes.
Okay.
Last year was a smaller project, the Columbus Avenue project was smaller, I think that bid about a month later than this. But this is February, if we can bid it out earlier, we'll do our best to get it out earlier. That's kind of the experience we had this last year where things, different than Main Street, just took a long time to obtain. And so with material shortages, the earlier this thing gets bid out, the better. So January, February, we kind of bidding timeline, hopefully, and then construction happening maybe 2 to 3 months afterwards.
I know my experience with this is generally that late January, early February seems to be about the sweet spot. Because if you go too soon, a lot of guys are like, we've got all year, so we're gonna bid this high. We're not really trying to crunch in at this point. You go too late, then like you said, a lot of times people see that late January, early February seems to be about the sweet spot.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had some contractors note last year with expecting $7 diesel to happen in August. And when they're bidding the project, diesel might have been $4 a gallon. And so they're kind of projecting things to be more expensive than they may end up being. So you don't want to go too early because there's a lot more guessing.
Guesswork, yeah, sure.
Guesswork, yes.
Okay. All right.
So if council does decide to proceed with this report, you do have a resolution in front of you to accept the report and then order the public hearing, which would be on October 17th at 6 p.m. This would be the same timeline that we have for the assessment hearing as well. They're both scheduled for the same time for the assessment hearing for the 2022 project, but we're proposing
The
the same
assessment
time
hearing for Columbus.
for both projects to be the same night, yes.
Okay.
I guess just kind of continuation from one of the issues that was brought up last time or previously about just the timing with the economic conditions and supply shortages and things like that. And I guess my thinking was that you just have to kind of bear with things and barrel through it. But really to, I guess, have you answered that question? What are other municipalities, other places thinking about timing and whether that we should allow the unique economic conditions, which are more supply shortage issues more than the real inflation kind of thing? I mean, there's real inflation going on too, but some of those things are still working themselves out.
Yes.
Or other municipalities or anything waiting to try to see, and of course, there's still inflation if you wait a year, but
Yeah.
what is your response to some of those kind of questions?
Right, and I think we're seeing most municipalities, most communities are moving forward as they have in the past. There's some that have bid projects that they did not award if they came in too high. You certainly don't want to be in that position if you can avoid it, but it kind of comes down to you just don't know what's going to happen. We did have a conversation, myself, Matt, and Bruce, talking about future projects, and I think the take from that one is to proceed with the 23 project and then see how the bids come in and see if they have come down before deciding what to do with the future projects. But getting the project out there early hopefully will help with bid prices and yeah, I mean, and inflation and when costs are going to come down, it's really anyone's guess, really.
Yeah.
So explain again how you estimated the cost. It was what kind of an inflation factor did you add to the numbers that you currently are seeing in bids now today?
Yep, so what I have in there is the cost estimates from projects that SEH bid this last summer, along with the Columbus Avenue improvements.
Okay.
And kind of using those numbers, and we usually do some small rounding up, getting to round numbers, things like that. And we build in a little bit of contingency with that, and then we also have the 10% contingency that you see in there. On this project, we did a pretty thorough cost estimate for it, so when we have contingency in there, that's not meant to cover the things we didn't think about. That's more to cover, hopefully, the inflation or any cost overruns that could happen. So we built in a little bit of extra dollars with our unit pricing, and then we have a little extra on some of our quantity measurements, and then that contingency amount in there as well.
So you didn't really use an inflation factor on the things? You just
Well,
kinda
I did for
used
the
contingency?
following projects, so the 24 and 25 projects that I have in there, I believe I have a 4% contingency, or 4% inflationary factor year to year. It might be 10%, it might be 2%, it's probably somewhere in between, but I do think the prices we saw last year are higher than they should have been, and my hope is that they at least stay steady. My belief is that at least stay steady, if not go down a little bit, but I mean, I really couldn't tell you for sure where those will end up. I bid a project about 3 weeks ago, and I did see some lower pricing on items than we had estimated, so I did see a little bit of a correction for that project, but this is a considerably larger project, which hopefully economy of scale will help you out as well.
I'm not suggesting that we delay or anything like that, but if we were to delay, we really have to make this decision now, then wait until February when we get a bid that's much higher than we anticipated, right? Or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, if you bid the project, go through the process of creating the bidding documents and then bid the project, price is coming too high, you can say, we're gonna wait a month and just reject the bids and rebid the project. You can say, we're gonna wait a year. I don't know what we'll see between 23 and 24. I mean, that doesn't guarantee the prices will go down for sure by waiting any longer. But if the project gets bid out and then you just reject the bids, the project documents just get set aside and you come back to them later with a little bit of date changes and things like that to rebid it later on.
When you delay it for a year, you already have costs that you're incurred.
Correct.
So
Yeah, primarily
is that really realistic to wait a year and you have to start over?
well, the costs you're incurring at that point are beyond mostly the engineering sides, the design and the bidding of the project, which is, you know, it's gonna be a fraction of the construction cost. So that cost won't necessarily change. The design, if you waited a year, probably very similar to doing it initially, so you're
Yeah, the
spending that
trade-off.
time now or you're spending it later.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
where the trade-off of waiting and saving might be eaten up by the additional engineering costs and things.
Yeah, could potentially.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Otherwise, I'd take a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 22-10-0301.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's been a motion made by Maggie, seconded by Sean to approve the resolution. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. What else do we have? And then this orders that public hearing, doesn't it? Yes. So,
Yep.
or is that public hearing for we have to order the one for Columbus?
That was done at the previous meeting.
Oh, we did. Thank you. Okay. All right,
Thanks.
thank you. Right, the public is invited to be heard on matters that is not on the agenda. If there's any public that wants to speak to matters not on the agenda. Seeing and hearing none, I will go to the next item, is the public hearing for Chalk It Up. So I will open the public hearing for Chalk It Up doing business at 114 West Main Street, New Prague. Hey,
I didn't.
just wait. Go ahead.
Yes, so, before you kind of have my memo for the Chalk It Up. I know that, both Ken and Jim have put a lot of work into this, both working with Denise, trying to make sure the building is ready to go as well as their application and stuff. I also, besides the, conditions that we kind of placed in there, I know that, there's kind of an update that they have, this evening, so I'll let Ken or Jim, whichever one I guess wants to share that with you. I'll let them fight over it, I guess.
Yeah, actually, Sergeant Applin had been working on the background last week. And then I came into the office, after a couple days off. And, he, briefed me on where he was at with it. We did, send out Wednesday or Thursday, we wanted to do the state has a background packet, just collects more additional information about the business and people involved. So I had Barb send that to Denise York. She was able to fill it out. She provided it tonight, along with a copy of her lease for the property. They have to maintain an interest in the building to have their business there for it to be, for the liquor license to be authorized. So we just received these documents tonight. So there is some more backgrounding that I would like to do in that process. So you could have your public meeting or hearing and go through that process. I would just ask or inquire if the council would entertain postponing making a decision on it until additional background can be completed on it.
114, what building is that?
That's the old,
Rusty Spoke?
no, whiskey business.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought that was done.
Is there, so there isn't a liquor license right now.
There's
But
not.
the other day, there was 2 police officers out front. Could you tell us about that? Do you recall? Maybe you were on vacation, but.
We got called over there, in the morning. An officer responded in the morning for loud music. They were having some music downstairs while they were working on the building. I think a tenant from upstairs had called about it. The officer said it's not overly loud. Obviously, it's affecting him because he's within the same building. But that was just, they were advised that they could keep it down. That would be appreciated, but it was like at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I think that evening we were contacted again or issued another noise complaint. Same at that time, that was 11:20, 11:30, something like that. I'd have to look for sure, but, noise coming from inside the bar. They have some speakers right inside the walls, and you could hear it beyond the boundaries of the property, and that's the stipulation in our ordinances, zoning mostly. So they were just advised that they need to keep it lower at this time for that. At that one, there was a couple people in there that were helping do some of the work again, and there was some alcohol present at that time. It's my understanding.
Denise, are you gonna be the day-to-day manager of,
Yes, I'm the owner,
okay,
yeah.
so you're not just own the business and then have other people run it, you'll be
You'll be
there.
I haven't
on-
even hired anybody because right now we've got some, issues with, they came in to inspect it on Friday and there's some handicap issues going on that have to be resolved. There's, I'm not sure of all this, but there's a ramp in the back, there's handicap parking in the back of the building. And there's a ramp that comes into the side door of the business. But there's stairs that go up, and that's where the bathrooms are located, okay? So the handicap parking there is also, since I bought the building or leased the building, we got the very back part. Well, Steve had that to begin with. And so he was doing work back there. And I don't know with the city what's been approved and what hasn't. So we haven't closed it up where all the electrical and stuff was done. It's still open. It's just 2x4s. And so we're waiting to hear back from that too, because we don't have any idea what's been passed and what hasn't. But anyways, the handicap parking's in the back. There is a way to get into the very back door of the business. And they can come through, they can use the restroom. But there again, if they wanna go down to the bar, they have to go outside and go around. So Scott was gonna check with the state of Minnesota and see, and I haven't heard back. That was just Friday afternoon.
Yeah, to add on that, everything, that she just mentioned, we had our inspection with them on Friday. We sent the information into the state so they could give an interpretation, older existing building. So we just wanted the state's input from the Office of Accessibility so that we
Yeah, and
weren't
there's
doing anything that would get them in trouble and obviously to make sure that.
There's a toilet that needs to be moved in the men's restroom. It's too far away and we have to put up some bars. And there was something, the sink in the bathroom, the women's bathroom needed to be replaced.
Yep, all accessibility issues. Nothing, you know, I don't believe that is nothing that can't be overcome. We just want to get the full information to their hands so they can kind of
Right,
finish that up.
so we're waiting to hear back on that.
To create the yellow light that you got complaints already on the nose?
Who are you talking to?
Either one?
He's moving the end of the month,
He is, okay.
yeah,
Alright.
so,
I was gonna say, I mean, if he's that sensitive and he lives above a bar.
well, he has a baby. The baby's probably, I don't know, 6, 7 months old, I think.
Understandable.
But from what I've been told, he's vacating the end of October, which is this month, so.
Okay,
No complaints from the other two. There's 3 apartments up there, and we haven't got any complaints from the other 2, so.
Just waking the baby up or something.
Pardon?
Waking the baby up?
That's what he says, yeah, so.
so is there any other questions from the council for staff, or?
Nope, I guess, like Jim said, at this point, staff would ask that while we, you know, hold the public hearing and whatnot, that we, put off making a decision to allow staff to finish backgrounding all the information that we received tonight.
All right, so I take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
There's, okay, motion by Maggie, seconded by Rick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. So, do you want to speak any more to,
Well, I don't
on?
know. I was just reading your names. I'm new to New Prague
Yep.
and, I, live in Hastings. I worked 40 years for a company, a manufacturing company, and I retired at 60, almost 64. And, just a little background on me. I was born in Inver Grove Heights. We moved when I was 8 or 9. My dad took a transfer with the Internal Revenue Service down to Kansas City, Missouri. Go Chiefs. And, so, hey, they won
Wrong
last
state,
night, so.
lady.
Anyways, so my home is really Kansas City. You know, I remained there until, 2.5 years ago.
Okay,
My sister that lives in Hastings, there's quite a bit of age difference between her and I, and she has had MS for 30-some years, and her husband was her caretaker. Well, he passed away 5 years ago last month. So I made the decision to become her caregiver, and so I moved. My husband died 10 months after her husband died. So I decided to come up and be her caregiver, and so the last 2.5 years, that's what I've been doing, is taking care of her. So that's how I got back up here.
okay,
So, and I decided to do something for me, a venture for myself, so that's where I am.
Good for you.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Denise.
I would take a motion to table this until the completion of the,
And we actually don't need a.
Oh, we don't need a
At
motion?
this point, because we
Okay.
held the public hearing.
okay,
Well, there's no requirement that says we have to make
Act.
a decision on that same evening.
Okay.
So, we'll do our background information, hopefully we'll get this back to you by the next meeting.
okay.
Who is the background information on? There's 2 of them that you have to?
No, we were just,
It's on me.
Oh,
yeah, the background, I'm sorry. Sean, we were just waiting on the background packet, which does indicate any additional people that were involved in the business. So I wanna review through that, and then we also got the lease agreement with,
Okay.
to review that. And their interests.
Perfect. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you much.
See you back here soon?
All right, we are to item number 11. Couple resolutions on certifying utility charges and property maintenance charges.
Yep, so I'll just give you a real high-level overview here tonight. So first resolution, Resolution A on the agenda would be certification of $4,593.80. This is for property maintenance, for mowing, refuse cleanup, that type of thing. as we have talked over the years, Bruce, I believe you had brought this up a number of times to make sure that we're covering our administrative fees, to cover the time and make it less attractive for us to just clean it up rather than a property owner to do that. So you can see actually a little over half of our amount that we're certifying is related to the administrative fees there, so.
Like sending letters and,
Sending letters, follow-up, the actual, preparing of the resolution here tonight for that. So we're up a little bit from where we had been. It's our highest total since 2015. I don't know if there's any one area to pin this on, but we just had people that didn't follow up when the letters were sent. We had over 106 letters that were sent this year. So very good compliance overall, just had 4 that we ended up having to do some work on. So if you don't have any other questions on the mowing one, that's really all I have for that. And I might as well just give you the quick background on the utility one. Again, this is just the list provided from the utilities for $5,311.34. And again, this includes municipal utility bills, but not including electric. Those aren't able to be certified, as we've talked in the past number of years. And that is obviously down from our all-time high in 2020, but yet a little bit higher than we were at in 2021, but not significantly. So that is what the utilities would like to have certified here tonight with that separate resolution. And again, for both of these, we have to have them certified to the county by October 15th. So it's our last council meeting that we can do that and get that timeline met.
can we put, besides the legals, can we put the addresses in there so we know where they are?
I'd have to check, okay, I think we do not do that, because I don't believe we can do that for the utility accounts.
Okay.
Probably could for the mowing, I'll check on that.
If you would, please.
City
I
attorney.
kind of figured that, but
We have never shown them, and I think we were advised by our attorney not to, but I'll check into that for you.
because I know some cities publish them in the paper, that's why I ask, and they
Okay.
have the addresses, so. Okay, so, you've heard Ken, does somebody wanna offer resolution, the first resolution on the, mowing and maintenance?
I'll move that we accept the resolution 22-10-0302 approving certification of mowing and property maintenance charges to the tax roll.
Second.
Okay, there's motion by Rick, seconded by Bruce, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Does somebody wanna offer the second? I'll offer the second one. I'll offer resolution number 22-10-03-03.
I'll second.
And Maggie seconded it. Any other discussion on that one? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay. Next item is schedule budget meeting number 3.
Yes, we'd be looking to schedule the next budget meeting to hopefully kind of better wrap up much of the general fund and maybe answer any questions we have left. Obviously, we'll keep working on it, but we got quite a bit that we can take care of. And hoping to do that starting at about kind of the last couple weeks of the month. So if the council has any time, weeks of the 17th or the 24th, that would be awesome.
I can do the 20th and 21st.
That's out for me. But I don't have to be here either.
Well, we could do 27 and 28. But like you said, you don't have to be.
Well, I'm available those 2 days as well.
I am too,
I'm sorry.
I'm available 27th and 28th.
Okay.
as am I.
How about, what does it look for you?
What are we covering in this meeting?
So I think the covering will be kind of some of the updates to show you kind of what we've done. We set that preliminary levy at 5%, kind of update you with where I'm at. And I know we'd also kind of briefly discussed officer positions at the last meeting. Hopefully we can flesh that out a little bit more and talk about potentials for that and that sort of thing. And if not come to a consensus, a little more guiding structure to help me narrow in better with where I'm at.
Okay.
You need a full 2 hours or something?
I would hope I need 20 minutes, but that's never a thing.
Well, here again, we can't piggyback a city council meeting or anything.
And I suppose we could. I know that there were a couple things we pushed off of this meeting knowing we wanted to keep it a little shorter, so I can't guarantee you how short
Okay.
the next one will be.
It's Thursday, the 27th work?
That works for me.
It works for me also.
Works for me too.
I can make it work. I mean, just have to not do something I was planning on doing. If that's what it is.
If you work out twice on Wednesday, you won't have to do one on Thursday.
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying.
So
We have a lot more meetings than we used to, it seems, but,
I thought we used to have more.
I don't think we have nearly as many
Really?
budget
But
meetings.
my hope with this meeting is we could wrap up much of the general fund stuff, so if we have any more meetings, it's just touching on the general fund. And then,
I think the police officers was one of the bigger issues, and maybe you could give us that material ahead of time or something.
yep, I'll try to
Some
get
of
that
these
stuff
things.
to you as soon as
Because
possible.
now we're looking at a week later, and so we're looking end of October,
Yep.
and we had our last budget meeting, that'll be over a month since the last time, so.
So I got down on 27th, what time?
That is up to you all. I'm available that day, so I know in the past we've done 5:30 or 6.
6 o'clock, good, guys?
Well, 5:30 would be better, but,
I can go as early as
Yeah.
5.
how early can you?
That's fine, 5:30.
5:30? Okay. Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, miscellaneous meeting minutes. We'll go around the room. Matt? Jim?
Always got something.
Just with the personnel change, we had our police records technician resign, and her last day was the 30th, last Friday. So we posted internal on that position, and our other secretary had put in for that. So we will be finishing out that process here in the next couple of days. And then we will be, if she is chosen for that position, then we would post her position. But we will be flushing that out here in the next couple of days. And the last candidate that you guys authorized to be hired on the 18th, he put in his, he had 2 weeks. This pay period was his first 2 weeks, so he is well into his field training right now. So he is progressing through that.
So your officers are totally up to the top now, including your replacement?
Right now, we are at that,
We're at the authorized level.
in that process, with a backfill for my position, yep.
And then we're gonna discuss, further,
One or potentially 2 more officers in the coming year, how that would look.
At the budget.
alright. Alright, good. Thanks, Jim.
That's all I have.
Ken?
Just a reminder, that we will be having our, a special meeting immediately following this over at the community center, as they would like to show off their upgrades to the city council, so.
Okay,
And I won't be making it because I don't wanna come back in the dark.
okay. Maggie?
I don't have anything.
Nothing.
I don't have anything?
Just a clarification on the license we were just talking about. The narrative talked about health license from Scott County. I was just curious why it was Scott County.
On the
Health.
sewer side, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that would,
Sewer County.
that would be a
Would be
typo.
Leesure?
It'd be LeSueur County.
Okay,
That was a typo. Okay, I didn't know.
that's all I had.
That'll be fixed when we bring the approval memo back to you.
Rick?
The homecoming, the kids were great. they even knew who I was, and so I was pretty amazed. They're so polite here, so. Kudos to New Prague for raising their kids right. That's all I got.
Okay, I would take a motion to recess.
We're adjourning. The next meeting
Okay.
will be considered a special meeting.
Okay, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Rick, second by Maggie. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
How you doing, Pat? I didn't even see you come in.
I didn't ask the engineer if he had anything, did you? Okay.
Cold? Is it, but it's not COVID?